All right, I'm going to start sending out videos each week to share some information with you guys that I usually have to do individually and do it multiple times. And I believe this will help streamline the process. So that way, when we have conversations during the week and on the weekend, I don't have to tell the same story or give the same information over and over again. And we can just send out these videos. You guys can watch them. Then when we talk, we can discuss what's in the actual video, the information that I went over. And I just think it'll be a great addition to what we're already doing. So this week, what I want to talk about is I sent out a link yesterday to Joel Osteen, and he's talking about the power of believing that things are right on time, having the perspective that things are right on time. And what I want to do is connect why that is important to you as a racer and how you can benefit from that, and start to understand when we don't have that perspective how it can be holding us back in major ways. So for me, over the past 10-15 years, I really study how my life unfolds and how other people's lives unfold, and what I've learned that our perspective is what has a lot of control over that. And I know this is religion and we're talking about God, and I'm not really trying to push that on anybody, but this was just the most powerful example that I could come up with. And I believe if we start to experience some of this power, even if you don't believe in God at all right now, if you have a powerful experience, you can start to understand that there's a lot more teachings and stuff that you can benefit from that can really help you achieve the things that you're wanting to in life. So when I talk about, how life unfolds and how it's connected to our perspective, I believe that God designed the world to work in a certain way. This is my personal belief that somebody's not up there pulling strings. That when we look out here, in our yards and stuff, there's not somebody physically pushing up a tree out of the ground or pushing the grass up to grow each week. There's this invisible force that everything is working off of. And for me, myself, over the last 10-15 years, I've really got to understand perspective controls a lot of the power that's been designed into this world that we have access to. So when he's talking about, believing that everything is right on time, why is that important? Why does he really get into that when he goes over this message? Well, if our perspective's tied to how our life unfolds, if we believe things are not on time, and that's the life experience that we're living out, how's our life going to unfold? It's going to unfold as something that's not on time, that it's going to take forever to get where you're going. So a good way for me to look at it is, when I'm looking at my perspective, I believe life mirrors our perspective, or works really hard to mirror our perspective. So if we believe that things are right on time, that things are moving in the way that they should be, then it keeps a lot of the resistance and roadblocks that we face from popping up. Vice versa, if we're showing up on the race weekend and we've made all this improvement and we're looking to get the result from the improvements that we've made, but we're not getting them, it's real easy to fall into the perspective that I'm not where I should be. I should be farther along. And if that's our perspective, guess what you're going to have an experience of? Someone who's not getting the results that they deserve. Someone who's not far as long as they should be. And, that's not the life experience we're looking for. And what happens is it creates this resistance over and over again. And unfortunately, what happens is the way most people finally get the results that they deserve, or the breakthrough that they're looking for, is they just have to be continually beat up week in, week out of not getting the results that they deserve, to the point that they finally release their control, their grip on this perspective that they're not where they should be. They finally get to the point where they're so tired of being that person or being in that position that they loosen their grip and they go, man, I just got to keep going forward here. And, when they loosen their grip, all of a sudden they'll have a breakthrough and it'll be easy, and they'll be like, man, I don't understand this. I've tried so hard for the last 5 or 6 weeks, just trying my hardest to get the result that I know that I can achieve. And no matter what I tried to do, I just cannot get it done. And it's because of our perspective. So this is not, when Joel Osteen's talking about having the perspective of things are right on time, that's not just a silly thought, or a silly exercise. Once we understand how our perspective's tied to how our lives unfold, it becomes really a really serious thing that has tremendous power. So I've got a challenge for people, because I know this is not necessarily an easy thing to do, because a lot of times we've had the habit for years when we're in this position to believe that, man, I should be farther along, I should be getting this. I know how much I've improved outside of the competition, during the week. I know the results that I should be getting, and it's really hard not to have that perspective. It's hard to have the perspective that exactly what's happening this weekend is exactly what's supposed to be happening for me to get that result that my improvement that I really deserve. So what I want to challenge you to do is to, instead of, when you make all this great improvement, and what that improvement should result in. We study things a lot. We do breakdowns. We do time studies. We understand what the improvement should create. But instead of showing up on the weekend and expect to get the result that improvement really should create, what I want you to do is focus on confirmation. We talked about this earlier in the year. Once we've made the improvement, go to the race and not expect a result, but show up at the race looking for confirmation. And when we do this, I think it's easier to have the perspective that things are happening right on time, because realistically, when you show up, and this is how I look at it, when we show up on the weekend, our life is trying to recreate the experience of who we have proven ourselves to be. Not who we could be, not what our improvements should create, but life is working real hard to create the same experience of what we have proven ourselves to be, what our past results have been. So when we understand that concept, that there's this war between who we are right now and who we want to be, or who we're working to be, when we understand there's a war between, life trying to create who we've proven ourselves to be and us striving to be the improved version of ourselves, then we start to understand what the game is and how to play the game and what we need to do to be able to be successful and not go through weeks and weeks of resistance and not really getting anything from it. So we want our weeks to count. So for them to count, we got to understand we got to work with what life has given us, which is it's trying to create what we've proven ourselves to be. So if we can go on the race weekend and start confirming new improved pieces of ourselves, then that starts to change who we have proven ourselves to be. Thus, that will unlock our ability to get the results from the improvements that we've made. But I see this all the time. I see so much frustration. I see so many, painful moments where people are trying their hardest to get the results that they deserve from their improvement, and they just can't. It's like they're beating their head against the wall, and they don't understand why it's not. Sorry about that. I got excited, and I guess I hit the stop button real quick. But back to what I was talking about, it's frustrating to see people working so hard to get the results that they're looking for and not be able to get those. And what I want to do is, I think the more we can understand how life unfolds and what's controlling the way our life unfolds, the more in tune we get with being able to get the most out of what we're doing. So my challenge is for you to seek confirmation on the weekends. Because if we can confirm the improved version of yourself, not show up and try to get the result, but show up and confirm the improved version of ourselves, then what will start to happen is it will unlock our ability to get the results of the improvements that we've made. So just wanted to share that with you guys. We can talk about it more, when we actually have a conversation about it later in the week, whether it's on the phone or at the races. But I just wanted to start sending these videos out, start the communication process. I'm not totally comfortable doing it yet, but like I said, these are not polished pieces of work, and I just think it's going to be a great avenue to share information. So hopefully you guys are having a great week, and I will look forward to talking to each of you this week. Have a great day.